Today at Humanity at its Best, we have Catherine Campbell, and she has started an organization called AshevilleStrong. So welcome, Catherine, and tell us, where are you today? And, what was the impetus for AshevilleStrong? And then what is AshevilleStrong?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. So I am in Asheville, North Carolina. And I started AshevilleStrong as a all-in-one place directory for people to buy gift cards during the coronavirus pandemic. It was something that I noticed we didn't have available here in the area. And as I was looking around and having to work with local businesses who didn't have gift cards available, or they were just trying to put the word out on social media, I realized that there needed to be some kind of unified voice or unified system. So I decided to build that in a day.
I love it in a day. We just interviewed another organization, and they too built what they built in a day. So kudos to you for being quick.
Thank you. What is it that they say? Necessity is the mother of invention.
Absolutely. So how did you get the names of businesses, and also why did you feel that it was really important to support local business?
I have a marketing and PR agency, and we represent a lot of local businesses, restaurants, hotels, retail shops, little mom and pop independent businesses that really depend on that foot traffic in the doors. And so once there was a mandated closure on those places, dining rooms were ordered to close, shops had to close their doors for safety, and, for good reason. Everybody needed to be protecting others against this virus, but it was going to kill cash flow overnight. And so that became a huge warning sign, and something that scared me, and it scared the people I was talking with, it scared my clients. And they were asking themselves, how can we get cash flow right now? How are we going to make money overnight to pay the bills that are due tomorrow? We don't know where that money is going to come from. And so we were looking at all of these online options, merchandise, gift cards, takeout and delivery orders, anything that we could to pivot their business models that would traditionally rely on foot traffic. And so with gift cards are also, they support the local economy. The more money that you put into the local economy directly, the more of that also stays in the local economy. So it just made sense.
Brilliant. And so how long has it been up and running?
So I built the website in 5 hours on March 14th. We launched it at 7 p.m. on March 14th, and that was a Saturday night, I believe, and I've lost track of the days, as many of us have. And I woke up the next morning to dozens of submissions in there. So it's been it's going on 3 weeks now. And it's just taken on a life of its own. It's a movement that I never expected would be this big. And it's something that you can put out there as an individual, but it takes a community to grow that movement. It takes a community to get it and to take it and run with it. And that's exactly what's happened here in the city. It's been incredible.
And how is the pandemic in Asheville?
It's definitely hitting here right now. I think that we're getting ready to see a peak in the virus here. Our wave of patients and of how it's been affecting businesses and people living here, and everybody social distancing and shutting down. I think we were about 2 weeks behind the other major metropolitan areas. So it's been, I think we're bracing for the worst impact coming up.
Oh, well, certainly our prayers are with you. How do you feel about the response to what you're doing? How does it make you feel? I mean, I know you're a professional, you're in communications, but how does it make you feel as an individual?
It's something where we didn't even do this for our business. We didn't even, I actually told my staff after I built it that I said, surprise, we're doing this thing. And we're going to just see what happens with this, because I think that was just the place where I was reacting from, was just from a personal level of just trying to save these businesses and these business owners, and trying to help these other human beings that I've known for many, many years. I mean, not just clients, but community members who I've known now for, I don't know, 20 plus years. And so that's the beauty of Asheville, is that it's a city, but it still operates very closely like a town. People know people. They take the time to get to know people here, and then they show up and support them, when they need it. So that's been really heartwarming. I think a huge part has been the fact that this grew so much. Like we started out with just 5 categories. We thought, hey, we're going to be able to help a handful of restaurants or a handful of shops stay open, hopefully with some gift card sales. And now we have close to 700 business listings on the site. We've had 60,000 page views. We've had nearing 30,000 visitors to the site. And then we're hearing back from the owners, because we don't have a way we don't take a cut of the gift card sales. We don't funnel that through something ourselves. We just send them directly to the shops to buy the gift card online. And so we've been relying on anecdotal case studies and evidence coming back from the business owners themselves. And they're telling us it's working. They're selling handfuls of gift cards here and there. They have other businesses that are buying hundreds of gift cards as a social responsibility initiative to share out later. So you'll see gift cards being sold one or two at a time here as individuals, and then you've got other organizations that are buying them in bulk. So it's working. It's a great one-stop place.
Well, that's fantastic. So what do you wish that's going to happen as a positive outcome of Asheville Strong and those who have helped you initiate it and participate in it? What do you think the future will look like once we get back to some level of pre-COVID life?
I think people are starting to think about how business can be done differently. I think, one of the best things that has come out of this initiative and out of this community movement is that a lot of businesses have done the work that needs to be done to make themselves more stable online and be able to open those online sources of revenue. And hopefully those will continue in the months and years to come. And in the meantime, Asheville Strong itself as a movement has created a really solid foundation to the point where we are going to be looking at addressing and establishing ourselves as a nonprofit, and establishing a community relief fund in the near future as well. So those are our goals for the next 6 months. I think the most important thing is don't think about something being perfect. Just build it with the tools that you have. If you want to help people, don't try to be all things to all people. My skill set, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not an educator. My family members are, and that's their skill sets. That's how they're showing up and helping people right now. And so I had to ask myself, what's my skill set? What's my one talent that I can use to show up for others right now? And that's the talent of communications and getting something built and putting it out there to help. So think about, what is your one skill set? What is the one thing you can bring to the table to help one part of your community? And just start it. Don't think about being perfect and being all things to all people. Just start and you'll be able to do your part.
Reshma Khan founded the Shifa Free Clinic in 2012. I'd love to hear in your own words about the clinic, who you serve. So let's just start there.
So my name is Reshma Khan, and I founded the Shifa Clinic back in 2012. This clinic serves everybody, regardless of race, religion, gender, identity. Especially it is for those people, those who are uninsured and those who are 250% below poverty line.
And your geography, you're in South Carolina. So how many counties do you serve? How many people?
Yeah, so we serve the Tri-County area, and anybody who lives in the state, if they're able to come to our clinic, we'll be happy to serve them. So we do not have any geographic restriction in terms of the miles or the radius or the zip code. If they can come to our clinic, we will serve them.
That's commendable. Sure.
So we have people coming all the way from Beaufort, sometimes also from Hilton Head. and other areas, Walterboro, in addition to our Tri-County area, which is Dorchester, Charleston, and Berkeley County. So we initially, I started this clinic off on a very, very small scale. It was just me, just one person, one room, and a computer. That's all I started off with. And this all is my volunteer work. I have never taken any form of compensation for any of this work that I do. And started off as 4 hours a week. And since I'm a gynecologist, so I just started with a gynecology service on Saturdays, every 4 hours every Saturday. And, it does feel like how one person can make a difference and how you can do it all by yourself. But this is the reality and this is the truth. It was just me and nobody else. And then over years, the work was more recognized. People started joining me. People collaborated with me. The community came together. And now, after this is our 9th year of service. We are a full-time clinic. We are Monday through Friday, and we are multi-specialty. So we have primary care, GYN, OB, mental health, dermatology, pediatrics, dental, as well as we have an on-site dispensary and a very strong diabetes program, which not only provides the medications, free insulin, but also provides diabetic education.
So how many people do you have now in terms of either full-time or volunteers providing these amazing services? And how many people do you serve on a weekly basis?
Yes. So this is still run 90% by volunteers. And we have a very small staff of only 6 people. Because we also have, in addition to the food services, the health services, we also have an on-site food pantry, which in normal situation with the pre-COVID, we were serving about 800 individuals on a monthly basis and about, you could say, 250 families on a monthly basis. So for that, we have now a food pantry coordinator, volunteer coordinator, 3 front staff people because our phones are very busy and because we serve a high population of Hispanic. So bilingual was a must in our office. So we have 3 front desk people who are bilingual, and that helps through our communication, through giving the patient messages, making them feel comfortable. 80% of our patient population is Hispanic, 10% about African Americans, and 10% Caucasian.
So what's it like during the pandemic? And I'm sure you're really stretched, but you were very smart to do some pivoting about serving your patients.
Yes, absolutely. So when the COVID-19 happened in starting March 16, we had to do a 180-degree turn in terms of the services we offered. I did not want to cut down any of the services, but still wanted to take proper precautions for both our staff, the volunteers, as well as the patients, because that is number one. Safety is number one. So we want to make sure how we could do this. And the main requirement I felt was more health, of course, was there, but food was a very top priority amongst the people. People had lost their jobs. People had lost, income, and there was a great need of food. So I focused a lot on providing a safe food distribution to the people. And this required a lot of back-end work. And currently we are serving about 300 to 400 families a week. That is about, more than 1,000 people a day, which is as I said, pre-COVID, we were doing 250 to 300 families a month. And now we are doing 375 plus a week.
And how are you getting your food?
Yes. So our biggest collaboration, of course, is through Low Country Food Bank. We cannot do this without Low Country Food Bank. So we were a partner agency prior to the pre-COVID, and we were also one of the top 25 health and wellness pantries. So we had a good relationship with the Low Country Food Bank, professional relationship, and it continued after COVID. And for I think I would say at least for the first 5 days or 6 days, that's what I was told. I am not very sure. There might be others as well, but this is what I was told, that we were the only food pantry that was open full time, 8 to 4 p.m. So our responsibilities was much higher than the others. And I wanted to reach out to as many people and as many families as I could.
And then also your volunteers. Have you gotten new volunteers?
Yes. So this was another big impact that I have seen in what Shifa Clinic. I feel my biggest accomplishment or our accomplishment through the clinic is the community building, the collaborations that we have established. And this is a prime example of community collaborations and coming together. The Charleston community has been amazingly supportive, and we have had all new volunteers, all new people that have come together to serve the community with me. And without their support, without the support of the community, without the support of Low Country Food Bank, there was absolutely no way that I could have done any, or our clinic could have done any of this stuff, our team together.
And you're doing such extraordinary work, and you're this relationship builder. You have this ecosystem throughout the community. How did you learn to do that?
To be very honest, all started with a prayer. And I feel this is the effect of the prayer that I made, because I never, even when I was struggling and I was in a very difficult situation in terms of how to start this clinic, I had no, guidance. I had nobody to tell me where to go. My prayer was this, that God help me build a place which is a portal of goodness for all, portal where we all could come together on a common platform and serve the bigger purpose, and be useful to each other. And the prayer has always been that God, whoever walks through this door should feel your mercy. And that's exactly what this is, that clinic is come about to. The people who come through the door, the volunteers, the patients, the staff, everybody is just a very positive environment, a very positive energy that we have through each other. I think we feed on each other's energy.
You do.
And it is that's all how we could achieve the things that we have achieved so far, so much in such a short span of time.
Well, you are certainly amazing. And now I know why you're so beloved, and that they were cheering at that Charleston event. I would love you to share any insights with anyone who's listening, someone who's maybe scared to start a clinic or a business serving underserved, or anything just helping society. What would you suggest to them?
Yeah, I would definitely suggest that, number one, that it has its own challenges, for sure. I won't say that it is a piece of cake. It is very easy to do it. No, it has its challenges. It has its frustrations. But your passion and your desire to serve should be much higher, and it should be a genuine desire in your heart, a burning desire in your heart is what you want to do. As I always say, what is in the well will come out in the bucket. So,
That's great. I love that. Okay.
So it has to be in you, and it has this desire has to be in you, and it should be genuine, and it should be true to your beliefs. Be firm on your beliefs, and make sure that you work hard towards achieving the purpose, not necessarily the results, but what your purpose. Identify the purpose in life, and then it will be easy for you to follow to reach to those steps. And the number two is language. Don't, as I always feel that people feel that, they might not understand me, or the culture is different, or the language is different. But in my experience of last 10 years, I could say that if it is true and genuine, people will understand every language. Kindness has no language, and it will come across the barriers, and it will go through every heart if it comes out true from you. And that is, I think, the best way to work is to build, not run after the results, but build, and working with the team will give you the best results. And reaching out to people, listening to them, being patient, perseverant, I think those are the keys to any successful organization or any successful work that you are undertaking. And above all, I think keep your desires and keep your intentions true and genuine and purposeful.
Now, I'm going to ask you for some advice, which is that I am trying to bottle up the amazing humanity that's been expressed during the pandemic and to keep it going. I mean, if we had a country that had everyone like you, we wouldn't have problems. But, we only have about 30% of people volunteer. And what we're trying to do is create a movement where everyone does what you said, a little smile or a hand up, just showing up with genuine intent. Do you have any suggestions for me and my colleagues of ideas or directions that we can get the country to bottle up this humanity and to express it every day?
Yeah, I think what you're doing already is a part of that. And reaching out and encouraging people and showing them the stories of, as you already are doing, is I think, one step closer to what you are wanting to achieve. I think people want to learn, want to hear, and they get inspired and want to do things when they hear stories of people who have achieved things in their life, and they've seen results in other people's work as well. Getting inspired from people is one of the best ways to follow the directions. I think you guys are already doing that.
If I come up with a machine to replicate people, you're first on my list.
Oh, thank you so much. You're very kind.
Karen Hitzelberger is a third grade teacher in Walnut Creek, California. Welcome to the show, Karen.
Thank you, Carol. It's so great to be here.
So Karen, I have heard through the grapevine, through our network, is just done a wonderful job adapting to the new way of teaching in a social distancing world. And so, Karen, if you could talk a little bit about your class and then what you did to adapt your style, and then we'll get into a conversation.
That's great. Okay, so I have 22 wonderful girls and boys that split right down the middle. And I've got students from Egypt, from Mexico, from Russia. It's incredible the diversity our school, Buena Vista Elementary in Walnut Creek, has. And the students on the Friday that we closed the school down walked out with 5 books, and we didn't send home their workbooks or anything. So we've had to scramble to get everything offline and convert it into PDFs and all that. So I love technology, although I didn't use it a lot, but I love it. So I've adapted to this well. I learned Zoom, I've learned Google Classroom, I've learned all those techniques. But the biggest thing is you wondered, how did I change? I didn't change me at all. And I brought me, and I'm the biggest influence on these kids in their education. So I brought myself to all these online technology platforms, and the kids have been responding incredibly.
So tell me about the challenges for them to shift, and then talk about the kids first, and then I want to hear about the parents and how are they doing.
Right. Well, the big shift for them is not seeing each other, and they miss each other a lot, not being able to, because we hug and acknowledge each other and all that. And we do a Zoom classroom every morning, though, so they get to see each other. And the other dynamic is, I told you behind me, I've created a classroom here in my dining room, and I brought all the supplies from my classroom here so that I could create lessons. So I've been doing that, but my students have been struggling some. They miss that. The work is huge because we're giving them more than they'd ever get in a classroom, because usually you're busy doing other things or going to assemblies and such.
How many hours a day do they have schooling now?
Well, the district has said 3 hours a day they're supposed to devote. But I just started getting emails from parents saying, this is too much. I can't handle this. Some kids are working from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the parents need to help them with the work because I usually am helping them.
Right.
And the parents have jobs. And so this has been the big challenge to find that balance.
And so how I'm sure some of the kids are like, hey, they're naturals and they really like it. And then some might be anxious because these are very strange times. And so how are you balancing all of those different emotional situations?
Well, we start the week off, every day off with our meeting, and we do a sharing. And I mix it between, like the first week, we talked about the resourcefulness and resilience you need to be able to cope with this. And again, with my counseling background, I know when you can express your feelings and your fears in a supportive environment, it makes you feel like you can handle it better. And so that was the key thing that I always keep in mind as we're sharing. But then I got to keep it light too. You don't want to have them be thinking about this all the time. They're writing a pandemic journal through the coaches at our school, and they're going to be the primary source in the future for what's happened during this time. So I've tried to make them feel important that way too.
That's smart. They're the historians. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the share today was, what's going on with the hair in your house?
That's great.
Who's cutting hair? And they love that. And other teachers are doing things like scavenger hunts and such. But our workload has been, the district is really trying to meet the needs of the standards in the school expectations, but we've got to temper it. And so I'm always shifting and changing my approach and simplifying everything. I kept making it simpler and simpler for the kids to access and for the parents to understand.
So real time learning. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, real time.
So do you have any of your peers that you're talking to so you can exchange, this is working, this isn't working?
We have a Zoom staff meeting every week. I collaborate with my third grade team every week, and they've just set up a meeting with all the third grade teachers in the district to talk about what are you doing, what's helping, what isn't helping. The main thing we need is time, and we don't have enough time, and neither do the kids. It might sound like they do, they have forever, but to have that time to put into that much schoolwork, they don't want to do that. They need to be active. And so I just sent them, one of our first grade teachers did a YouTube video of herself doing a course on her driveway, doing different exercises.
Right.
And she videotaped herself, gave it to her students to copy. And I put out the challenge to my students,
Right.
Make up one of these. I played it for them. So I'm trying to always keep it a balance between be real, have real feelings, because this is a very heavy time. And then what are you doing to keep yourself going?
How about the parents? Because how are you dealing with them and how are they dealing with work and feeding and fears and juggling?
They're having a tough time, but I got to say, my parents are amazing. My biggest thing is to communicate. I learned that a long time ago. You prevent problems if you're clear on what your expectations are and what you think parents need to be doing or thinking about. And I try to do that at every stage, and I keep adjusting. What do you need? I'll try that. Let's keep doing it. And I just got some feedback. One of my parents in my classroom is a board member on the school board. And he wrote and he said, thank you. You've made this, working for us because you keep responding and fine tuning it. And they feel listened to. So just like the children, if you listen to them, acknowledge their feelings, and try to help them with whatever is their concern, the parents respond the same way. So I do the same thing with the parents.
You told me in our pre-interview that you have a background in, I guess, mental health and counseling and such. Can you talk a little bit about how you applied that in terms of being empathetic and really being like a good counselor to the children and parents?
Yeah, sometimes I say to the other teachers, it's like we're riding on a surfboard in the way. What's the next wave coming and how do we manage that next wave? I lived in the Adirondack. I grew up in upstate New York, by the way, and I lived in a cabin in the woods in the 70s and then came out of that and worked in a group home. And then I ran my own group home and had 4 emotionally disturbed kids living in the home with my husband and myself. And then we moved to California. And that's when I got the job at UC Davis in running a peer counseling center, teaching empathy to students so they could talk to other students and help them. And that was just a huge education for me. And then it was the time I wanted to be a mother, and I really wanted to stay home and raise my kids. So I did that for 13 years. And then I was a room parent in my classroom that I'm in right now, as a matter of fact, that same room. And the teacher said, you've got a great style and attitude. Now you ought to become a teacher. And I thought, it's time to go back to work. And I went back to school and became a teacher 21 years ago.
Well, I think that the world is very fortunate that you had that career trajectory. So I would love to hear any tips and hints from your counseling background and your embracing of empathy to share with more so parents that they can either, be kind to each other, or how they can really, be a really good friend to their children at these tough times, as well as a loving parent.
Right. Well, the hardest part is I'm here alone. I'm 69 years old. I don't have a partner or children here. I just have my dog. So first of all, I don't pretend I know what it's like to be trying to educate children at home. So I'm very open to any of their concerns. But the biggest thing is do what works. I keep saying this to the family, do what works for your family. But stay in touch with your child. Look at them, notice them, listen to them. That's always the parenting I tried to do. Because sometimes I need to be in front of my child leading them. So the parents sometimes need to say, now sit down, do your work, do this. Other times you need to be by them. Do you need my help? Are you doing okay? Checking in with them. And finally, sometimes get out of the way, get behind them, let them go their own course. And I've done that as a parent and as a teacher. That's exactly what I do. And so I recommend to the parents, just stay tuned into your kid as much as you can. But you've got to take care of yourself too, so you don't get very stressed out and it could lead to not good things.
Yeah, well, those are wonderful words of wisdom. So I want to ask you one other question, which has to do with the humanity that has been expressed from, neighbor to neighbor, doing, little things, shopping for an elderly person, maybe walking someone's dog or just helping out. Do you feel that will be continued once we go back to somewhat of a normal life?
That's a big question. I have seen humanity. I love your humanity at its best. Especially here in the Bay Area, people are taking this very seriously. And people are wearing masks now. We just made it a rule. If you're outside, you have to have a mask on. And people are doing it. They were not rebelling. But during the Spanish epidemic, San Francisco had a group that were protesting wearing masks. And so it makes me think history. I really have been looking back at that pandemic, trying to learn from it. I think we'll take steps forward. And that's all I ever ask of a human being, is you try to be the best you can be. I hate to quote Oprah here, but one thing I liked she said is, when we know better, we do better. And that's why as an educator, it's so important to me that we learn to think, to problem solve, to care, to feel, to realize our best selves. And I'm hoping that that's what's going to happen, that we will have tapped into our best selves. I hear people when I walk by their houses talking to each other. I see people, I don't go out because I'm 69 and have some health issues. Look what one of my friends brought me when she brought me my groceries. She brought me beautiful roses.
Aww.
People are being so kind and generous. Right. We have the time. I just hope we don't return to the rat race.
Okay, so you are really wise. And so do you have any suggestions on how we might be able to continue that wonderful type of neighborliness going forward? Any suggestions?
This has shown who a lot of us really are. And education more than ever is so important, that we're a science-based society, that we make decisions based not on politics or money, but on people. And that's the whole push that I put. Grades aren't as important. What you get on your SAT, where you go to college, isn't as important as who are you, who have you become, and what are you contributing to our society? You know, if you can't help, get out of the way, at least. So we are in the trenches, but we're making a difference. And I keep telling everybody in my class, you're making a difference. Just keep being your best self. And instead of saying, try to become something, no, become your best self.